Good morning, PHHE 315. Boy, we are getting down to, let's see, we've got today and then really just like two or three other announcements, video announcements. So really enjoy my presence and my announcements because you're going to miss them when the class is over, I'm sure. And I will miss all of you. So let's get down to brass tacks here. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. And certainly don't want to waste your time because I know we've got plenty to do. First thing I want to mention pertains to last week. So overall, nice job on the quiz, everyone, from Friday. There was one incorrectly keyed item, so I thank those of you who emailed me. There were a couple of you who emailed me, or three, asking about that, which clued me in to take a closer look at it. It was the question about late majority adopters. So go back now. I've opened the quiz so that you can go back in and take a look and see, make sure that you know what the correct answer was. It is corrected now, so what you see there now in terms of, the keyed response is correct, and your scores are also correct, or they should be, to reflect that. The system automatically changes the grades when I go in and change the key. And I just want to make sure also that sorry, give me one moment here. Okay. Speaking of quizzes, the week prior we had sort of a pseudo quiz, the informal early feedback. That's always a tongue twister. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. I mean, I know you kind of had to do it, but I could tell from your responses that people didn't just write one sentence fragment. They took time, you took time and gave me valuable feedback. And I have to say, overall, the feedback was so overwhelmingly positive, and it just makes me feel great about my methods, and motivates me to be more available for you and to keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, there were, of course, things that students said, it would help me out if for example, if the due date was Saturday instead of Friday, or things like that, more logistics of the course. And I definitely hear those. I think I will opt not to change anything like that right now because we're pretty far into the course, and I also don't want to confuse other people by changing, a standing due date or things like that. But certainly if you have like an extreme circumstance where it's very difficult for you to meet a course requirement, let me know and we can talk about it, and we can see if there's, if what you're experiencing does meet the, sort of the bar for making an exception. But it seems like at this point people have pretty much come up with workarounds to those types of issues. So anyway, thank you so much for taking time to give me valuable feedback. Along those lines, I want to put a bug in your ear to please take time to do the overall course evaluations, which are due on the last technical day of the semester, which is December 2nd, the Friday before finals week. I did get a couple requests in the informal early feedback for a study guide. So I think that's one thing I should be able to try to do for the final, is to provide a study guide. I didn't have plans to do that, I don't think, but I should be able to come up with something that will be of use to you. So that's kind of all in the past, but moving forward here briefly, we are doing community health administration for a topic this week. And I really enjoy this topic. I think it's a great application to the real world, because even if you don't end up being an administrator in community health or public health, you will likely be working with administration in some capacity, or maybe I shouldn't say likely, but if you are working in applied public health, you will have administrators that you have to report to or deal with or what have you. You have behavior change journal, of course, for this week, one of only 2 remaining ones. Look for a quiz on Friday, and then you have a discussion board due on Wednesday and Friday. Also, one of 2 remaining discussion boards. So we just have next week you have a journal and a discussion board, and then you're done with journals and discussion boards. The discussion board for this week is a little more lighthearted. It's a little more, should be kind of fun and interesting, and hopefully useful as well. If you haven't looked at it yet or posted yet, you'll be assessing your own personality. And I know you've all probably done some form of that before. This is actually one that I was introduced to when I was working in Wisconsin, and it's based on colors. And so it was one that I actually had never done before, hadn't seen. I don't know if it's, it's not maybe the most commonly used one, but I found that it was really easy to remember what the colors meant, and I found myself thinking about it like pretty frequently as I went forward in my work. And with the other ones that I had taken, just seemed like I had trouble. They're more complex and more psychologically technical in how the results are worded and things, and I just found that I couldn't readily remember what my score meant or what, how it would apply as I went forward in my daily work. So hopefully you feel the same way about this one. Okay, so then after next week, we have Thanksgiving break, and you have nothing. I purposely do that so that you actually have time to apply any time that you would have used for class during Thanksgiving week to your paper, because then the following week your paper is due. Please take a look at the paper resources again. Go to that. I would specifically recommend you take a look at that parts of the paper, audio and transcript, because that is where I will provide more details that you may not have thought of, or may not, or may have been wondering about, and you'll find some explanation. Also, you may, it may raise other questions for you that you can then post for me, and I can respond in the discussion board, the question and answer discussion board. Please do not neglect taking a look at the APA documents and really kind of making sure that you understand that. The APA and some of the nuts and bolts, such as, including the headings that I'm asking for, including the sections that I'm asking for, being correct in the theory that you're applying to your own behavior change. If you miss some of those things, people tend to get really excited about doing this behavior change, and I think that's wonderful and awesome, and that's definitely one of the goals of doing this project, is to see what it's actually like to go through making a change, exerting a change that relates to health in your own life, so that you can really kind of empathize and identify with others, and you can also see, you can put some experience to those theories instead of just having them be theories in a book on a page. But that being said, do not just get carried away and reiterate every single thing you said in your journal and tell me all about every moment of your life while you're undergoing this change, and forget to apply APA correctly, and forget to, go into enough detail about the theories and be correct about them, etc., etc. So just make sure that you're attending to all of what needs to go into the paper, so that you don't lose a few points here, a few points here, a few points here, and then overall your grade suffers, even though, you really did a great job carrying through with your behavior change. So I hope that makes sense. The final thing I had on my list of notes of what to say today was, there are some of you, I haven't really experienced this phenomenon, I don't think, before, exactly like this, but some of you who are not failing the class just will not submit things. And it's kind of odd. Like I have more than I would expect, like a higher frequency of people than I would expect who just don't submit the journal or don't submit the discussion board and just get zeros. And then not every week, it's hit or miss. And then I go back and look at their total weighted grade for the course, and it's not a failing grade. It's probably not an A or a B. I actually do have some B students who are sporadically just not submitting things. So I'm a little puzzled by that. And I don't want to preach to the choir, but if you are one who is missing entire amounts of points, like getting 0 credit for assignments, and this has happened more than a couple of times, I just encourage you to make sure that you know due dates. Excuse me. To sneeze. Make sure that you are attentive to your calendar. You know, we still have a couple more of each type of assignment left. So put those reminders on your calendar. Set it in your phone to ping you or whatever. I don't even know if that's the issue or if you're just choosing not to do it. But regardless, I just hate to see people not even attempting, assignments. If you have questions,